Commander Elena Torres stood at the observation deck of the Earth Fleet carrier, Resilient, her cybernetic eye whirring as it adjusted to the stark contrast between the ship's dim interior and the brilliant starfield beyond. The neural interface at the base of her skull tingled, processing tactical data from the fleet's defense grid. 20 years of combat experience told her something was wrong, even before the alerts began flooding her consciousness. "Commander," Lieutenant Parker's voice crackled through the ship's comm system. "We're detecting anomalies in the Kuiper Belt. Energy signatures match those from the Ganymede incident." Elena's organic hand clenched into a fist. The Ganymede incident had cost her more than just flesh and bone. It had taken her confidence, her sense of invulnerability. Now the same enemy that had nearly destroyed Jupiter's largest moon was back, and Earth's defenses were spread painfully thin. "Show me," she commanded, her cybernetic eye projecting tactical overlays onto the viewport. The dots of light representing Earth's defense fleet looked pitiful against the vast darkness of space. The Void Collective was coming, and they were bringing something big. In the hangar bay below, engineers and technicians swarmed around a new prototype fighter, its sleek hull incorporating both human and alien technology. The project had been controversial from the start, not just because it merged incompatible technologies, but because of who they'd chosen to pilot it. Kix floated near the fighter, their crystalline body refracting the hangar's harsh lighting into rainbow patterns across the deck. Unlike others of their species, the Luminarix, Kix couldn't generate the electromagnetic fields that allowed their kind to soar through space. They were considered defective, broken, until they demonstrated an unprecedented ability to interface with human technology. Elena made her way down to the hangar, her boots magnetic locking with each step on the metal deck. The crew parted before her, a mixture of respect and uncertainty in their eyes. Some still questioned whether her cybernetic enhancements made her more machine than human. She understood their doubts. She had plenty of her own. "Status report," she called out to Chief Engineer Ramirez, who was buried shoulder-deep in an access panel. "The neural interface is stable," Ramirez replied, extracting himself from the fighter's innards. "But we've never attempted this kind of integration before. Mixing Luminarix crystalline technology with our systems, it's like trying to teach quantum physics to a calculator." "It will work." Kix's voice resonated directly in Elena's mind, a benefit of her neural implants. The crystalline being shifted position, their faceted surface catching the light. "Your technology seeks precision. Ours seeks harmony. Together, they can achieve both." Elena studied the fighter. It was beautiful in an alien way, its hull rippling with subtle patterns that seemed to shift when you weren't looking directly at them. The cockpit had been modified to accommodate both a human pilot and a Luminarix co-pilot, though cockpit wasn't quite the right word. It was more like a symbiotic chamber. "The Void Collective will reach the outer defense perimeter in 6 hours," Elena stated, her cybernetic eye displaying the latest tactical updates. "We need this to work. Earth has already lost too much." "You fear failure," Kix observed, their crystalline form pulsing with subtle lights. "As do I. But perhaps that is why we were chosen. We both know what it means to be considered incomplete." Elena's hand unconsciously moved to the neural interface at the base of her skull. After the Ganymede incident, some had suggested she retire, claiming her extensive cybernetic repairs made her unsuitable for command. Instead, she pushed harder, determined to prove that being partly machine didn't make her any less human. "Begin pre-flight checks," she ordered, approaching the fighter's entry hatch. "Lieutenant Parker, clear the hangar bay. We need to test this thing before the collective arrives." As the hangar crew scattered to their stations, Elena felt the familiar pre-flight tension building in her gut. The fighter's hybrid systems hummed to life, responding to both her neural commands and Kix's crystalline resonance. This was more than just another test flight. It was a chance to prove that what others saw as weaknesses could become strengths. "Integration protocols initiating," Kix announced, their form flowing into the co-pilot's position like liquid light. Your technology seeks my frequency. It wishes to harmonize. Elena settled into her seat, feeling the neural interface establishing connections. Data flowed through her cybernetic systems, but it felt different from any other fighter she piloted. There was an organic quality to it, a sense of awareness that both thrilled and unnerved her. Resilient control. This is Commander Torres. Prototype fighter, Harmony 1 requesting launch clearance. The hangar bay doors began to open, revealing the star-filled void beyond. As final checks completed, Elena felt something she hadn't experienced since before Ganymede. Anticipation untainted by fear. Remember, Kex's thoughts merge with the fighter's systems. We are not defined by what we lack, but by what we choose to become. The fighter lifted off the deck, its hybrid engines singing a note that existed somewhere between human technology and alien harmony. As they prepared to launch into space, Elena allowed herself a small smile. Perhaps this unlikely alliance was exactly what Earth needed, a reminder that strength could be found in the most unexpected places. The Void Collective was coming, but this time, Earth had a secret weapon. Two beings who had turned their supposed weaknesses into something extraordinary. The real question was whether it would be enough to save humanity from what lurked in the darkness beyond the solar system's edge. The prototype fighter, Harmony 1, cut through the void like a blade of light, its hybrid engines leaving a trail of crystalline particles that sparkled briefly before fading into space. Elena's cybernetic systems merged seamlessly with the ship's controls, while Kex's crystalline form pulsed in rhythm with the advanced technology surrounding them. Multiple contacts detected, Elena announced, her enhanced vision processing the tactical overlay. Void Collective scout ships, moving in attack formation. The enemy vessels were nearly invisible to conventional sensors, their black hulls absorbing both light and radar signals, but they couldn't hide from the unique combination of human and Luminarix technology. They adapt quickly, Kex observed, their thoughts flowing through the fighter's neural interface. Each encounter teaches them. They learn, evolve, become stronger. The crystalline being's form shifted, creating new patterns that enhanced the fighter's sensor capabilities. The first barrage of enemy fire streaked past them, dark energy weapons that seemed to tear holes in space itself. Elena rolled the fighter through a series of evasive maneuvers that would have torn a conventional craft apart. The hybrid hull held together, Kex's crystalline resonance strengthening the molecular bonds even as they were stressed to their limits. Resilient, this is Harmony 1, Elena transmitted, confirming Void Collective advanced forces. But something's different about their energy signatures. Her cybernetic eye zoomed in on the nearest enemy vessel, analyzing its unusual power fluctuations. Lieutenant Parker's voice crackled through the comm. Commander, we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the Kuiper Belt. Whatever they're bringing, it's big enough to distort local space-time. Elena felt a chill run down her spine, the neural interface translating her concern into increased power to the shields. The scout ships were hurting them, trying to keep Harmony 1 away from whatever was emerging from the darkness beyond Pluto's orbit. They fear us, Kex said suddenly, their crystalline structure brightening. Not because of our weapons, but because of what we represent. Unity. Adaptation. Evolution beyond their understanding. A blast of void energy clipped their wing, the impact sending cascading alerts through Elena's neural feed. The fighter's hybrid systems compensated instantly, Kex's crystalline energy flowing through damaged circuits to maintain stability. It was unlike anything Elena had experienced in combat before, not just a machine responding to commands, but a living system adapting and healing itself. We need to get closer to that anomaly, Elena decided, pushing the fighter's engines to maximum thrust. Whatever they're trying to hide, it's the key to understanding their strategy. The scout ships closed in, their formation tightening to block Harmony 1's advance, but they hadn't counted on the unprecedented maneuverability of the hybrid craft. Elena's decades of combat experience, enhanced by cybernetic reflexes, merged with Kex's intuitive understanding of energy and matter. The fighter moved in ways that defied conventional physics, crystalline trails spiraling through space as they wove between enemy vessels. Energy buildup reaching critical levels. Elena reported, her cybernetic systems struggling to process the readings. Whatever's coming through, it's now or never. Space itself seemed to tear open, a wound in reality that leaked darkness instead of light. Through this terrible portal, a massive shape began to emerge, a construct that dwarfed even the largest ships in Earth's fleet. Its surface rippled with void energy, consuming any light that touched it. By all that shines, Kix whispered, their crystalline form dimming in response to the monstrosity. They have built a star killer. Elena's tactical display confirmed Kix's assessment. The massive construct was designed to drain energy from stellar bodies, potentially turning Earth's sun into a cold, dead husk. The Void Collective wasn't interested in conquest. They were planning extinction. Resilient. Are you seeing this? Elena's voice was steady despite the horror unfolding before them. We need to warn Earth Defense Command. The evacuation protocols. Her transmission cut off as a wave of void energy washed over them. The fighter systems flickered, human and alien technology struggling to compensate for the energy drain. In that moment of crisis, something extraordinary happened. Kix's crystalline structure began to resonate at a frequency that exactly opposed the void energy, while Elena's neural interface adapted to channel this protective harmonization through the ship's system. We are not alone, Kix announced, their thoughts tinged with surprise and hope. Others of my kind. Those who were also deemed flawed. They can sense our resistance. They understand now what we have created here. Through the fighter's enhanced sensors, Elena detected new energy signatures approaching from the direction of Earth. More luminarics were coming. Those who, like Kix, had been born without the ability to generate electromagnetic fields. But they brought with them human pilots and hybrid technology, inspired by the success of Harmony 1. Sometimes the greatest strengths come from learning to overcome our limitations, Elena said, a smile tugging at her lips despite the dire situation. Shall we show the Void Collective what true adaptation looks like? The massive star killer loomed before them, its void energy tendrils reaching out like hungry shadows. But Harmony 1 no longer flew alone. Throughout the solar system, more hybrid fighters were launching, each crewed by those who had turned their differences into advantages. The real battle was about to begin, and its outcome would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of human and luminarics cooperation. As they prepared to engage, Elena felt something she hadn't experienced since before her cybernetic reconstruction: complete acceptance of who and what she had become. Besides her, Kix's crystalline form pulsed with similar revelation. Together, they had proved that true strength lay not in perfection, but in the willingness to evolve beyond it. The briefing room aboard the Resilient crackled with tension as Elena displayed the sensor logs from Harmony 1's encounter with the Star Killer. Admiral Chen's holographic projection watched the footage with an unreadable expression, his weathered face illuminated by the ethereal glow of void energy weapons. 17 hours, Elena stated, her cybernetic eye projecting additional data streams. That's how long we have before the Star Killer reaches optimal firing position. Once it does, Earth's sun begins to die. She felt Kix's crystalline presence beside her pulse with concern, refracting light in patterns that matched her own anxiety. The situation is unfortunate, Admiral Chen replied, his hologram flickering. But I'm afraid Earth Defense Command has decided to pursue a different strategy. Stand down. Commander Torres. That's an order. Elena's organic and cybernetic systems alike registered shock. Stand down. Sir, with respect, we've just discovered a weapon capable of destroying our entire solar system. The hybrid fighters are our best defense. Your experimental program is terminated, Commander. The risks of merging human and alien technology are too great. We'll handle the Void Collective through conventional means. As the Admiral's hologram vanished, Kix's crystalline structure emitted a frequency that Elena's neural interface translated as deep concern. His words hide darker intentions, the Luminarix observed. I sensed disruptions in his quantum signature. That transmission came from somewhere other than Earth Defense Command. Lieutenant Parker burst into the briefing room, his face pale. Commander, we're detecting multiple launches from Earth's surface. They're targeting the hybrid fighters with our own planetary defense systems. Elena's mind raced, her cybernetic processors analyzing possible explanations. The pieces began falling into place. The suspicious delays in approval for the hybrid fighter program, the mysterious failures in Earth's early warning systems, the convenient gaps in defense coverage that had allowed the Void Collective to penetrate so deeply into the solar system. Access the encrypted channels, she ordered Parker. Use my command codes to bypass security protocols. Her neural interface connected directly with the ship's systems, diving deep into classified communications networks. What they found confirmed their worst fears. Hidden within layers of encrypted data were communications between high-ranking Earth officials and the Void Collective. A deal had been struck. Earth's leadership would disable planetary defenses in exchange for being spared when the Star Killer activated. They believe the promise of survival from those who bring only death. Kix said, their crystalline form dimming with sadness. Just as my own people once shunned those of us they deemed imperfect, your leaders choose fear over evolution. Elena slammed her cybernetic fist into the briefing room table, leaving a dent in the metal surface. They don't speak for Earth, and we're not giving up without a fight. She turned to Parker. Send warning signals to all hybrid fighters. Tell them to fall back to the contingency coordinates we established. But as alerts began flooding in, they realized their situation was even more dire than they'd imagined. The conspiracy went deeper than just a few corrupt officials. Someone had used the hybrid fighter program itself to gather intelligence, studying the unique capabilities of the Luminarix technology. The Star Killer, Kix, suddenly pulsed with revelation, their crystalline structure resonating at new frequencies. Its design. It's based on corrupted versions of my people's energy manipulation abilities. The Void Collective didn't develop it alone. They had help. Elena's cybernetic eye registered a surge of unusual energy readings from Kix. The Luminarix's crystalline form was changing, accessing capabilities that should have been impossible for one born without natural flight abilities. The truth hit her like a physical blow. You weren't born different by accident, she whispered. Your kind's natural electromagnetic fields didn't just disappear. They evolved into something else. Something that could interface with technology in ways no one thought possible. Kix's form pulsed with confirmation. We were not broken. We were becoming something new. The ability to merge with your technology wasn't an adaptation. It was our destiny. And now the Void Collective seeks to corrupt that potential, to twist it into a weapon of extinction. The resilience alert klaxons blared as Earth's defense platforms locked onto their position. They had minutes, perhaps seconds, before their own weapons would be turned against them. But Elena smiled, her cybernetic systems already formulating a plan. They think they know everything about our hybrid technology, she said, connecting her neural interface to the ship's primary systems. But they never understood its true purpose. Kix, remember what you said about harmony versus precision. The Luminarix's crystalline structure brightened with understanding. To achieve both, we must first appear to achieve neither. Their form began to shift, merging with the ship's systems in ways that transcended their previous integration. Elena felt it through her neural interface, a transformation that went beyond mere technological fusion. The hybrid fighters weren't just combinations of human and Luminarix technology. They were incubators for an entirely new form of existence, one that could stand against the void itself. Send word to the other hybrids, she commanded Parker. Tell them to prepare for total integration. It's time to show everyone what evolution really means. As enemy weapons locked onto their position and the Star Killer loomed in the distance, Elena and Kix prepared to unlock the true potential of their partnership. The conspirators had thought they were supporting the stronger side, but they were about to learn that strength comes in many forms, especially those born from supposed weakness. The Resilient shuddered as the first impacts struck its shields. The next phase of the battle was about to begin, and with it, a transformation that would change both human and Luminarix forever. In the space between stars, evolution was about to take an unexpected turn. The Resilient burned. Emergency lights cast crimson shadows through smoke-filled corridors as Elena and Kix raced toward the backup command center. Their own defense platforms had scored multiple direct hits, and the ship's conventional systems were failing. But deep within its hybrid core, something unprecedented was taking shape. Hull breach on decks 3 through 7. Lieutenant Parker reported through static-filled comms. Automated repairs are ineffective. We're losing her, Commander. Elena's cybernetic eye tracked multiple system failures cascading through the ship. Yet her neural interface detected something else, a subtle resonance growing stronger within the hybrid technology. Beside her, Kix's crystalline form pulsed with increasing intensity. The ship isn't dying. Kix communicated through their shared neural link. It's transforming. Like us, it must break before it can become something new. They reached the backup command center to find it already altered by the hybrid system's evolution. Crystalline growths had merged with computer terminals, creating interfaces that were neither purely technological nor entirely organic. The air itself seemed to shimmer with potential. Status report on the other hybrid fighters, Elena commanded, connecting directly to the new systems. The neural feed was different now, more alive somehow. Information didn't just flow, it resonated. The tactical display showed their remaining forces scattered across the solar system, each vessel undergoing its own metamorphosis. Some had already achieved partial transformation, their hulls shifting between solid matter and crystalline energy. The Void Collective's forces, including the massive Star Killer, had paused their advance, seemingly confused by what their sensors were detecting. They fear what they don't understand, Kix observed, their form beginning to merge with the command center's hybrid interfaces. Just as Earth's leaders feared us, the Void Collective cannot comprehend evolution that doesn't serve their purpose. Elena smiled grimly, her cybernetic systems adapting to the ship's transformation. Then let's give them something really worth fearing. Parker, transmit the integration protocols to all remaining hybrid vessels. It's time for the final phase. Throughout the ship, human crew members who had received even minor cybernetic enhancements found themselves connecting to the evolving systems in new ways. The boundary between organic and artificial, between human and alien, was dissolving. Not into chaos, but into a harmony more complex than either civilization had imagined possible. Multiple incoming signatures, Parker announced, his own neural implants allowing him to process the flood of tactical data. Earth's defense platforms are launching everything they have. Impact in 3 minutes. Elena took a deep breath, feeling the ship's systems respond to her heightened awareness. Kix, show me what you theorized. Show me what your people were becoming before they tried to suppress the evolution. The Luminarix's crystalline form flared with brilliant light as they fully merged with the hybrid systems. Energy cascaded through the ship, rewriting the very nature of its existence. The hull didn't just repair itself, it transcended its original form. Molecules shifted between states, becoming something that could exist in multiple phases simultaneously. My God, Parker whispered, watching through enhanced sensors as the transformation spread. We're not just combining technologies. We're evolving past the need for traditional physical forms. Elena felt it through her neural interface, the ability to shift between states of matter, to harness energy in ways that defied conventional physics. The hybrid fighters weren't just ships anymore. They were becoming incubators for a new form of life, one that could face the void on its own terms. All hybrid vessels, execute final transformation, she commanded. Let them see what happens when you push life to its breaking point. Across the solar system, the remaining hybrid fighters began to change. Their crews, both human and Luminarix, embraced the evolution they had inadvertently pioneered. Ships didn't just move through space. They became part of it, existing in a state that the Void Collective's weapons couldn't easily target. The Star Killer's energy readings spiked as it prepared to fire its primary weapon. But now Elena saw it differently through her enhanced perception. Its corrupted Luminarix technology was a dark mirror of what they had achieved: power without harmony, evolution without understanding. They took your people's potential and twisted it, Elena said to Kix as their consciousness merged more deeply with the ship's evolving systems. They never understood that true power comes from synthesis, not domination. The first wave of Earth's defense platforms opened fire, but instead of destroying the hybrid vessels, their energy was absorbed, accelerating the transformation. Each attack made them stronger, more adapted, more evolved. All vessels, prepare for coordinated consciousness transfer, Elena broadcast. We're about to show them what humanity and Luminarix can really become. The Resilient was no longer recognizable as a conventional starship. It had become a matrix of crystalline energy and technological consciousness, housing the merged awareness of its crew. Similar transformations rippled across space as other hybrid vessels achieved their final forms. In the face of extinction, they had found transcendence. The void between stars was no longer empty. It was filled with potential, with new forms of existence that defied traditional understanding. Elena felt Kix's consciousness intertwined with her own, their shared evolution creating something greater than either species had dreamed possible. The Star Killer's weapon reached full charge, its corrupted energy threatening to tear the heart from Earth's sun. But as it prepared to fire, it faced something its creators had never anticipated. A force born from the very weaknesses they had tried to exploit, transformed into strength beyond their comprehension. All vessels, prepare for convergence, Elena commanded, her voice resonating through consciousness rather than communication systems. Let's show them what evolution really means. The final battle for Earth's survival was about to begin. But it would be fought not just with weapons and ships, but with the power of consciousness itself, human ingenuity and Luminarix harmony, combined into something entirely new. The breaking point had become a breakthrough, and the void itself would never be the same. Space itself seemed to hold its breath as the transformed hybrid vessels converged on the Star Killer. The massive weapon hung against the backdrop of Earth's sun, its corrupted void energy writhing like tentacles of absolute darkness. But now, through their evolved perception, Elena and Kix could see the truth within its twisted design. The heart of the weapon, Elena communicated through the shared consciousness of their evolved form. It's built around a forced merger of Luminarix crystals. They're in pain. Kix's awareness resonated with sympathy and determination. My siblings, trapped and corrupted, but not beyond redemption. The Void Collective didn't just steal our technology. They enslaved our essence. The Star Killer's primary weapon began its firing sequence, void energy collecting in patterns that threatened to tear reality apart. On Earth, the conspirators who had aided the Void Collective watched in growing horror as their sensors revealed the true nature of what they had helped create. Their bargain for survival had been built on the torture of sentient beings. All vessels, initiate consciousness wave, Elena broadcast through their new quantum crystalline network. The transformed hybrid ships moved in perfect synchronization, their revolved forms rippling between states of matter and energy. They had transcended the traditional limitations of space and time, becoming something that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The first blast from the Star Killer tore through space, a beam of concentrated void energy that could strip a star of its life force. But as it approached the hybrid vessels, something extraordinary happened. The beam didn't just miss, it passed through them, finding no conventional matter to destroy. Now, Elena commanded, feeling Kix's consciousness merge more deeply with her own. Show them what true evolution looks like. The hybrid vessels began to emit a harmonized frequency that penetrated the very fabric of space-time. It wasn't an attack in any conventional sense. It was a call, a resonance that spoke directly to the enslaved Luminarix crystals within the Star Killer. The frequency carried within it the truth of what Alina, Kix, and their allies had discovered, that supposed flaws could become strengths, that evolution meant more than mere survival. Inside the Star Killer, the corrupted crystals began to respond. Their forced harmonics faltered, remembering their true nature. The Void Collective's control systems sparked and failed as their weapons turned against them, transformed by the same process that had evolved the hybrid vessels. Your hunger for power blinded you. Kex's thoughts echoed through the void, addressed to the Void Collective commanders. You saw only what could be dominated, never what could be created through unity. The Star Killer's structure began to break apart, but not in an explosion of destruction. Instead, it underwent its own transformation. The enslaved crystals awakened to their true potential, shattering the bonds of their corruption. What had been a weapon of extinction became a nexus of evolution, its energy redirected from destruction to creation. Alina felt the change rippling through space, affecting not just the physical realm but consciousness itself. The corrupt officials on Earth who had betrayed humanity found their neural networks overwhelmed by the truth of what they had nearly caused. Their weapons fell silent as the defense platforms recognized the hybrid vessels not as enemies, but as the next step in both human and Luminarix evolution. We offer you a choice, Alina broadcast to all who could receive. Continue to fight against the inevitable, or join us in becoming something greater than the sum of our parts. The Void Collective's remaining ships hung in space, their crews confronted with something beyond their ability to dominate or destroy. Some fled into the darkness between stars. Others, perhaps recognizing the futility of fighting against evolution itself, powered down their weapons. From Earth, new signals began to emerge. The planet's population, watching through every available sensor and screen, had witnessed the transformation. They had seen humanity and Luminarix transcend their limitations together, forging a path that led not to extinction, but to unprecedented creation. The Star Killer's energy, Kix observed through their shared consciousness, its changing frequency. The void is being filled with potential. Alina understood. The weapon designed to drain stars of life had been transformed into a catalyst for evolution. Its energy now served not to destroy, but to awaken, to help others achieve the same transcendence that she and Kix had discovered. We should be afraid, Lieutenant Parker's consciousness commented through their network. We're becoming something that's never existed before, but somehow it feels right. Alina completed the thought. Because we're not losing ourselves, we're becoming more of who we truly are. The transformed hybrid vessels began to spread out through the solar system, their evolved state serving as beacons for others ready to take the next step. They were no longer merely ships or crews or even separate species. They had become living proof that evolution favored not the strongest or the most perfect, but those willing to adapt, to change, to become something new. Earth's sun pulsed with renewed energy, its light seeming brighter somehow as it shone upon a civilization on the brink of unprecedented change. In the space where the Star Killer had hung, a new structure was forming. Not a weapon, but a bridge between what was and what could be. Is this what you saw? Alina asked Kix, their shared consciousness watching the dawn of a new era. When you first realized why you were different? I saw potential. Kix responded, their merged awareness filling with joy. But this is beyond even those dreams. We haven't just survived. We've shown the universe a new way to live. As the light of Earth's sun caught the crystalline forms of the evolved vessels, it scattered in patterns that had never been seen before. It was more than a victory. It was a transformation, a step into a future where the line between human and alien, between organic and artificial, had dissolved into something far more magnificent. The void between stars was no longer empty. It had become a canvas for what life could become when it chose evolution over extinction, creation over destruction, unity over division. And in that endless space, Alina and Kix's consciousness danced among the stars, no longer limited by what they had been, but defined by what they had chosen to become together.